Well, I'm here to tell you there is some moving and shaking going on in the Indiana Fever organization because they have definitely let go of a player. Now, I know y'all thinking, what does this mean? This means Caitlin Clark return is sooner rather than later. Could that be why we did not see Caitlin come back? I mean, we did not see Caitlin travel with the team this past week. I don't know.
The Indiana Fever just made a move that has the entire basketball world talking. Kira Lambert, the guard brought in as Caitlin Clark's short-term replacement, has been shown the door quicker than a fake pair of Jordans at a Nike inspection line. And now, Fever fans everywhere are connecting the dots, and all signs point to one thing: Caitlin Clark's return.
Guys, today the Indiana Fever have officially released Kira Lambert, a guard from overseas who Stephanie White signed on a trust me bro recommendation. Somebody who Stephanie White didn't even know existed up until about 8 days ago. Unfortunately for Kira Lambert, her time on the Indiana Fever has come and her time on the Indiana Fever has gone. Best of luck to you and your future endeavors. This isn't
your standard roster shuffle. This feels like the kind of calculated move that makes you wonder if the Indiana Fever are playing 4D chess while the rest of the league is stuck on checkers. Cutting someone's replacement before their 7-day contract even runs out isn't about poor play. It's about clearing space. And in Indiana, there's only one name big enough to clear the deck for: Caitlin Clark.
Now, why is this move curious? Well, Lambert was on a 7-day deal, so the Fever could just be looking at this break knowing that her contract was going to expire anyway and not wanting to waste her time. But under the hardship rules, as that it has been, put out there and publicized, the Fever only had to release one of the two players between Odyssey Sims and Kira Lambert once Caitlin Clark was back. But one of them was going to have to go once they...
If you're enjoying this, make sure to subscribe. Just a week ago, the Indiana Fever were so desperate for a point guard they might as well have posted a help wanted sign for anyone who could dribble without handing the ball to the other team. Enter Kira Lambert, fresh off a strong run in the Greek A1 League, armed with overseas experience, and saying all the right things about faith, blessings, and staying ready for her shot. She spoke like someone who had been preparing her whole life for this chance, crediting God and her faith for guiding her journey.
It's a blessing, having the journey that I've had and just, remaining faithful, trusting God and doing the work, and just to see it all come back around and have this opportunity is awesome.
What's this opportunity in the NW mean, given all that you've worked to get to this point?
Yeah. I mean, it means everything, to, again, just remain faithful and trust the process. It speaks to resiliency, it speaks to faith, and I'm really excited to be here.
What's your familiarity, if anything, with this team, with Steph, with how they want to run things?
Yeah, I've been watching the W for years. It's the best basketball in the world, so, I've been watching and I've been...
But here's where things get interesting. Lambert wasn't just a warm body to fill a jersey. She was brought in because the Fever were bleeding point guards like a busted pipe leaks water. Caitlin Clark was still sidelined with that nagging groin injury. Ari McDonald went down with a season-ending broken foot. Sydney Colson was out with a torn ACL. At one point, it felt like Indiana was one step away from scouting somebody's cousin at the local rec league to run the point.
Clearly, Odyssey Sims has played herself into more of a role for the Fever. She got a bunch of minutes in the game on Sunday, 42 minutes for Sims. Lambert didn't play, right? So you can see relative one to the other where the Fever were looking at things from the pecking order standpoint. Now, there's also the Sophie Cunningham injury, but to be honest, I'm not sure how that would impact things unless they felt they needed somebody at that position rather than more depth at the point guard position.
They handed Lambert a 7-day contract, basically the WNBA's version of a probation period at your dream job. Only problem? Her trial run barely lasted longer than a TikTok clip. She logged less than a minute against the Connecticut Sun on August 17th, and by Monday, she was gone. Not because she messed up, not because the moment was too big for her, but because a certain superstar might be on the way back. The kind of player who packs 15,000-seat arenas and has ESPN analysts tripping over their words.
We just saw the most pointless contract of all time. The most pointless 7-day of all time. Kyra Lambert. They didn't even give Kyra Lambert a page on the WNBA website. I'm not joking. If you type in WNBA.com and you look at the Fever's last game, maybe they updated it because she actually saw the floor. Fever versus Connecticut. Kyra Lambert played a grand total of 4 seconds. She played 4 seconds. It would have been better off just to not play her. Oh wait, it rounded up to 5. They didn't even give her a WNBA page. They did not even give her a WNBA.
Here's where Fever fans are breaking out their magnifying glasses and playing detective, piecing together clues like it's a prime-time crime drama. As Indy Star's Chloe Peterson noted weeks ago, the Fever had plenty of flexibility after signing veteran guard Odyssey Sims. If they stuck with Sims alone, no cuts would have been necessary once Caitlin Clark made her return. But the second they brought Lambert into the equation, the math got messy. Somebody had to go when the Queen reclaimed her throne. And guess who got the axe? Not Sims, the 33-year-old vet with 304 games of experience, but Lambert, the same Lambert who was supposed to be the temporary bridge, who talked about dreams, opportunities, and trusting the process.
Fever fans, I don't know, we might have some good news. Well, we might have some great news. Cece, my precious Cece, might be returning. Might be. You hear me? Because they just released Kyra Lambert. You hear me? She had 3 ACL tears. So she wasn't good for nothing anyway. She fragile. How you have that many ACL tears? But thank you for providing us 7 days of your presence. You hear me? We needed you to fill in. You hear me? Because the GOAT, the greatest of all time, is about to return in due time.
Now let's talk timing, because this thing is tighter than a Swiss watch. ESPN recently shifted Caitlin Clark's projected return date. First, it was August 12th, which came and went with no Clark. But now they've circled August 26th, the Fever's home matchup with the Seattle Storm. Conveniently, the Fever get a full week off after their Sunday game against Connecticut, the perfect window for a certain superstar to ease back into practice. Even ESPN's broadcast crew pointed out that this exact break is when Coach Stephanie White hopes Clark will rejoin practice, with the understanding she'll need several sessions before stepping back onto court. And right after that break, a back-to-back against Minnesota, and then the highly anticipated August 26th showdown with Seattle. The same stretch ESPN just happens to be spotlighting for Clark's grand return.
But we did know that once Caitlin Clark was back, one of the 2 hardship signings was going to have to go. So that's naturally where people's heads were thinking when it was reported on the ESPN broadcast that Clark, the hope was she would return to practice this week with target dates the 22nd, 24th, 26th, those games being thrown out as potential return dates. Now, I don't have any other updates on that. I mean, I took Stephanie White's comments as they hope still she returns to at the regular season a little less confident than the previous.
So here's the picture. Lambert gets waived the moment the Fever hit their midseason break. Clark's projected return perfectly lined up for the end of that same break. The team holds on a veteran Sims, but shows the overseas newcomer the door. If that's not orchestrated, then coincidence must be working overtime in Indiana. And the fans? Absolutely volcanic. Social media is flooded with Clark's celebration gifts, countdown clocks, and theories that would make conspiracy boards look tame. The Fever sit at 18-15, clinging to a playoff spot just 2.5 games ahead of ninth place, where elimination lurks. At the same time, they're only 3 games behind the Liberty and 3.5 from the second seed. With Clark back, suddenly the idea of climbing the ladder doesn't seem so far-fetched. But caught in the middle of this storyline is poor Kyra Lambert, who probably thought she was finally getting her big break. After 4 years overseas and a dominant run in Greece's A1 League, she'd earned her shot at the W. She spoke about how much the opportunity meant, about faith and patience, about trusting the process. The Fever embraced her, and she seemed genuinely thrilled to contribute to a team she'd followed and studied for years. only for her dream to be cut short almost before it began.
Can the Fever please invest in international scouts? They definitely need to invest in international scouts because I know your boy John Liquidator ain't the best advocate when it comes to overseas players, but something I would say, they play hard, bro. Those overseas players play like they got something to prove. I give them that. But far as me, I feel like we got enough talent here at home in our home country to get players. Somebody said every day I question if Amber Cox and Stephanie White are even on the same page.
In the unforgiving world of pro sports, it doesn't matter how well you understand the system or how smoothly you fit in. If someone better is coming back, you're out. Lambert wasn't waived because she lacked talent. She was waived because she was never meant to stay. A placeholder, a bridge, a temporary fix until the real solution returned. And let's be clear about what Caitlin Clark's comeback means for the Fever. This isn't just about regaining their leading scorer or top playmaker. Though before injury, she was averaging 16.5 points, 8.8 assists, and 5.0 rebounds. It's about restoring the gravitational force that makes everything orbit smoothly. Coach Stephanie White has hinted all season that the Fever will be even more dangerous once Clark is back, and that's not just coach speak. During her absence, this team grew in ways they hadn't before. They found toughness. They built chemistry. Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, and Natasha Howard all elevated their games, proving they can shoulder more responsibility. So when Clark returns, she won't need to carry the entire franchise on her back. Instead, she'll slot in as a final piece of team that has already leveled up, turn them from resilient to truly dangerous.
Throughout her second season in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark has posted 16.5 points, 5 rebounds, and 8.8 assists per game for the Indiana Fever. Clark started the season on a tear under Stephanie White, but has since struggled to stay on the court, playing her second season as a professional. The Fever have 9 remaining games of their regular season schedule. They have a long break before their next matchup on Friday. The venue will be open, giving Clark a chance to rehab as the Fever take several days off from game action.
Here's where it gets really intriguing. The Fever are sitting in 6th place right now. Good enough for the playoffs, but without the luxury of home court. With 11 games left and Caitlin Clark potentially returning. Though, suddenly bigger dreams don't feel so unrealistic. Point one analysts laid out the math perfectly. Clark has missed 20 games this season, during which the Fever went 10-10. But let's say she had been healthy, and they went 15-5 instead. That would put them at 23-10, right in the mix for a top seed. Even as things stand, they're only 3 games back in New York and 3.5 games behind the second seed. In a league where momentum flips fast and hot streaks can change everything, Clark's return could be the spark that launches Indiana into serious playoff contention. The dream scenario fans are quietly whispering about. Clark comes back healthy, the Fever catch fire, and suddenly they're not just in the playoffs. They're hosting a playoff series. For a franchise that hasn't tasted the postseason since 2016, that would feel nothing short of miraculous.
I mean, it has come down to this season and Caitlin Clark's return. If they hope to make the playoffs, this is what's got to be done. She's got to come back, and she's going to have to win. And she's got to win even with Stephanie White as her coach. Good Lord, she will be the GOAT if she can pull that off at this point.
Picture this. Caitlin Clark comes back healthy for the final 10 games, and the Fever catch fire, winning 8 of them. Suddenly, they're sitting at 26-14 or 27-13 with home court advantage in round 1 of the playoffs. They roll into the postseason with momentum, confidence, and a supporting cast that's been battle-tested in her absence. Is it guaranteed? No. Is it realistic? Maybe. Is it possible? Absolutely. This team has already proven it can compete without Clark, grinding out wins and flashing real potential even while juggling injuries. Add their franchise player back into the mix, and there's every reason to believe they could get hot at just the right time. The Western Conference may be stacked, but the East is wide open. New York and Atlanta are tough, but far from untouchable. A healthy, hungry Fever squad with nothing to lose and everything to prove could become the exact kind of underdog story that makes the WNBA playoffs unforgettable.